Welcome everyone to our leadership series on using public narrative to build equitable and inclusive alumni communities. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tara Abrahams. I'm a member of the class of 1999, as well as HBS 2004. I also serve as a director for clubs and SIGs on the HAA.
Hi, welcome everyone. Good morning or good evening, depending where you are in the world. I'm Paola Peacock. I am a member of the executive committee with the HAA and a member of the working group on anti-racism. I am class of 2006 from the public health school and class of 2014 from the Doctor of Education Leadership.
So we thought we would start by telling you a little bit more about the anti-racism working group. The working group is a community of practice working to achieve the following goals. Utilize Harvard academic and alumni capital to develop an anti-racism program that activates and empowers the Harvard alumni community to acknowledge our history and the present, to initiate a process for reconciliation and healing, and to assert the values and actions for a more equitable and just community worldwide that all alumni can embrace and implement in their own communities. Why are we here as leaders for Harvard and our alumni communities globally? What calls us to lead? Each of us has a story that can move others to action. So what we're going to do here today is to introduce you to Professor Marshall Ganz's work on leadership through public narrative and storytelling. We need to acknowledge this urgent moment, recognize the importance of our origin stories, and how we can use personal storytelling to bring about hope and move others to action.
The body of our work with regard to public narrative really did start 2 years ago within the HAA, where my colleague Guy Fish and I were charged and were honored with the task of leading an initiative on inclusion and belonging. And this was working in tandem with the newly formed Department of Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging at Harvard University. What we did was bring in Professor Marshall Ganz's teachings, both in a theoretical and a practical sense, and we're very excited to share those with you today. So there are three key components that are fundamental to why we use storytelling as a leadership practice. First, it's to inspire other leaders. So to really dig into the power of our own experience and our own learnings and the authenticity of who we are to express our values and find that unity across difference. So values that we have in common despite our very unique experiences and upbringings. The second is very tactical. We want to learn skills. So we want to have skills and actual tools that we can use as we have dialogue across difference from our communities, our families, our work life, and especially within our Harvard community with other alumni globally. And finally, none of this work really takes us anywhere unless we're willing to take action. And especially in the climate that we find ourselves in today, action is the key. So the buildup of how we do values-based action and do values-based action collectively is really what we're going to be focusing on today.
So what we wanted to start out by doing is posing some questions. And the questions of what I am called to do, what is my community called to do, and what we are called to do now, all of these questions are at least as old as the three questions posed here by the first century Jerusalem sage, Rabbi Hillel. So the questions are, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? When I am for myself alone, what am I? And if not now, when? So the first question, if I'm not myself, who will be for me? It means we have to all take responsibility for our individual leadership. The second question, when I am for myself alone, what am I? Of course, we need to acknowledge that we exist in communities in relationship to one another. We do not exist as individuals alone. And a great demonstration of that is the reason that you are all here today. You've come as part of the Harvard alumni community to start to do this work along with us. And if not now, when? The idea here, which I always have to remember and increasingly internalize, is avoiding getting stuck by over planning or over engineering a perfect plan that could actually slow down progress, action, and impact outcomes. If we're talking about anti-racism, if there's anything that I've learned over the past several months as I get more deeply into this work, is that it's not about perfection. It's about a daily practice and effort around trying to build more inclusive community by the way I live my life. And I'm not going to get it right immediately, perhaps ever, but I need to start. I need to start doing it now. Public narrative will develop your capacity to lead as you answer these questions at a time when it couldn't matter more. And learning how to ask these same questions of others will begin to help you create communities of purpose around the shared values of hope and courage. Professor Gans defines leadership as accepting responsibility for enabling others to achieve shared purpose under conditions of uncertainty. I cannot think of a moment when there is more uncertainty than the moment that we are experiencing right now. So what we want to try to do here together is exercise leadership that enables others to turn their resources into the power they need to create change. As leaders of our Harvard community, you have the opportunity to enable others to find the hope and courage that they need to achieve the change that we all need in this moment.